The variety of cacao that we use is so rare, it makes up less than 1% of global chocolate production. If you are a chocolate lover, keep watching because you're going to want to know about this. So this magical variety that we use is called Arriba Nacional, and this is an heirloom chocolate variety. This has not been hybridized. It's not a Trinitario or a Forastero. This is not CCN51, the heavy industrialized hybrid that is known for having a flavor of acidic dirt, so you have to put so much sugar and other stuff in there to make it taste any good. No, this is the ultimate heirloom original. And it's not just about what genetics it has in terms of being an original heirloom, but it's about where it's growing. Okay, so you might think I'm going to say next that we have this beautiful farm or this plantation. Nope, we don't. We don't have a farm, we don't have a plantation. We have nature. These beans that we use to make our chocolate, to make our cacao powder, to make our cacao nibs, are exclusively coming from wild grown cacao trees in Ecuador. These are out there growing in the jungle, in their natural environment. There's no fence, there's no monocropping. This is nature as intended. And so when you grow something in the wild like this, it has a different level of genetic robustness, of nutrition, because it has to survive. You're not protecting it with a fence. You're not, pulling out all the weeds and keeping anything else from competing with it. This thing has to survive out there in the competition of the wild. It is no joke. The hardiness of a plant like this, to survive that, is on a different level completely than something that just grows up on a farm. And so these are growing in this volcanic soil, which is incredibly mineral rich, and they're not young trees either. These are generally between 40 and 60 years old, sometimes as old as 80 years. So they have not just been pulling a couple of years worth of nutrition out of the soil. They've been out there pulling up nutrients for decades. They've been dominating in this wild environment and thriving. It's not like they've just survived 4 or 5 years out there, but then they're going to die because it's not such a strong tree. These things are deeply rooted and thriving out there. And the other unique thing about the way this cacao is growing is that instead of incentivizing people to clear land and create a farm, we're incentivizing the local people to actually be great environmental stewards of the jungle and of the rainforest, because now they can make 3 to 4 times what they would make from harvesting more common strains of cacao beans by getting this wild-grown cacao. So they are incentivized to protect it and to take care of it and to nurture it. So that's, to me, actually one of the coolest things about our cacao overall. Now, once it's harvested, it's then fermented and dried, and we do this with traditional techniques and in very small batches and carefully to prevent growth of mold and mycotoxins. This is something that is present in almost all cacao products. In fact, about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, we got a call from a university researcher who was working on putting together a study looking at the effects of a mycotoxin and mycotoxins. These are mold toxins that we're talking about here, byproducts of mold in food. She was looking at the effects of, and putting together a study to look at the effects of a mycotoxin-free diet in a population of people, specifically children, who are very sensitive to mycotoxins with certain health issues that they have. And to do this, she had to find sources for a bunch of different foods that would be mycotoxin free, so these kids could eat a relatively normal diet while not consuming mycotoxins. And I think the 2 most difficult things that she had a hard time finding were coffee and chocolate. And so she called us up when after she tested our chocolate, because she said, I'd ordered all these different ones and tested so many. Yours is the only one that I found that was completely mycotoxin free. And of course, you can imagine how big I was smiling when I heard that over the phone. And the mycotoxin testing that they did was actually even more extensive than the one that we do ourselves. They were testing for all kinds of obscure different mycotoxins. So it was so cool to have that affirmed, what we already knew, but just even on a deeper level. And so we've got this ultra pure cacao that is now a fermented food, which not a lot of people know. And we do something else different. We don't roast our cacao. We keep it raw. So we are protecting the integrity of some heat sensitive compounds that in the chocolate that would otherwise be destroyed in the roasting process. And so the chocolate is then stone ground over a period of 10 to 12 hours, very slowly. And the facility where we're doing this only processes this wild cacao. It's not like you know, they do this cacao for a couple hours, then somebody else brings in some other lower quality stuff and it maybe gets, you know, cross-mixed. Nope. This is the only thing being processed there. Now, in terms of the energetics, you know, I would say let's look at this from the Taoist herbal, Chinese herbal perspective. In terms of the three treasures, we would say we're looking at yang, jing, qi, shen, and blood. And in terms of atmospherics, it's subtly cooling, but in excess, it's going to be a little bit heating. And flavor-wise, it's bitter, it's sweet, and astringent. And then in terms of organ systems, you're looking at heart, kidneys, and spleen. So if you guys have had an experience with our chocolate, I'd love to hear you share it in the comments. And leave us a like down below. It really does help us win this journey to reach more people and connect with more folks and share our love for chocolate. Thanks again so much for joining me today, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day and look forward to seeing you again soon.